This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
And welcome to the Monday Night Raw review on the WWE Podcast for this Tuesday, December 6th, 2022. Let's dive into Monday Night Raw that happened last night from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and a show that saw, I think, a lot of progression. I know that over the last few weeks I've been preaching that we're not going to see a whole lot of progress, and I'll be happy if they do. I just don't think that they will, and I think that last night was, while it wasn't earth-shattering, progressed storylines in a nice, logical way. You saw hints of things to come. Alexa Bliss, Bray Wyatt. We'll start off with that in just a minute. We saw Austin Theory and Ali. We saw Bobby Lashley. We saw Seth Rollins. We saw Becky Lynch grow her hair magically overnight with extensions and going back to just being, the man character, and once again coming through the audience as if she's one of us. We saw Dolph Ziggler come back out of his cave to just probably get laid out again. So we saw, I think, some decent things happen, including 2 triple threat matches for the women's side of things in order to determine who's going to face off next week for the number one contendership for the Raw Women's Championship. So let's get into it. As I said, I want to start off with the whole Alexa Bliss thing. And this was not on Hulu. For those that didn't watch it, you might want to dig it out. We had Alexa Bliss cutting another promo with another screen behind her with Bray Wyatt's symbol. And the TV screen in the distance with the upside down moth or whatever it is. This is now twice that Alexa Bliss, during a promo, has had this happen to her. And I think now do I dare say is undeniable that there will be some kind of connection ultimately with Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt. Whether that's her going back to being the dark, sitting on a playground, hopefully not, character, or is it actually going to be in ring with some kind of alteration of herself? I hope I hope the latter is true, because I want her in ring. I don't want her just doing silly backstage promos and not wrestling in a ring. So we shall see. But the point is, it's now twice, and 2 times is a pattern. And I think that right now we're looking at Alexa Bliss in some form or fashion, probably by the Royal Rumble, being in some kind of trance or mind control from Bray Wyatt, or this masked Uncle Howdy, which we will see who that is. We also, I think, got a setup for a Randy Orton return by the Rumble as well. I think at the Rumble or shortly thereafter, Randy Orton will be returning. Why do I think that? Well, Riddle is now in direct conflict with the Bloodline again. And this time he got brutalized by Solo Sikoa. And this was after the tag team title match in which he and Kevin Owens lost, as expected. But one that I think is a great setup for Randy Orton to return, because remember, Randy Orton was quote-unquote put out of commission by the Bloodline. How many months ago? Back in May. So Riddle is now facing the same fate. And whenever he returns, I think he'll have Randy Orton by his side. It makes sense. Reuniting RK Bro. Now, RK Bro will probably fall apart by the time WrestleMania rolls around, and you're going to be looking at a RK Bro complete crumbling, where it's Randy Orton versus Riddle at WrestleMania, where I think Riddle will be the one to actually play the heel in that one. So that'll be fun. Again, I'm booking out 4 months. I'm just reading tea leaves and just trying to think a few months ahead. And I really believe Randy Orton's going to be the one to return in probably the next 4 to 6 weeks. So I hope I'm right. I could be wrong. Every time you turn around, you feel like you're seeing something else that's pushing Randy Orton's return date back and back and back. I hope that's not the case. And this is encouraging this week is my message. So we also got a tag team title match that was supposed to be Elias and Riddle versus the Usos. I don't know how they exactly earned that, but that ended up being, after a beatdown of Elias backstage, it ended up being a surprise Kevin Owens to take the spot of Elias. And now we have, a much improved matchup from a star power perspective of having Kevin Owens in the matchup. Got a pretty good pop, although I'd say DC was kind of quiet in general. But we had a nice tag team title match that saw the Usos get the victory as expected. And then the Usos, after they pinned Riddle with the 1D, we had Kevin Owens come in to make the save because they were about to beat down Riddle. However, Solo Sikoa was still floating around that he forgot about, and he ended up brutalizing Riddle after the match and putting his head in between a chair and all that kind of stuff. And you know what? Most importantly, out of all this, beyond even Randy Orton's potential return that I think this is setting it up for, beyond Riddle actually doing something relevant other than just randomly interrupting people and all that, is the establishment of Solo Sikoa. He's the one out of the entire group that is the only one that actually is a heater. In other words, he's the only one that gets booed out of the whole group. If the whole group were made up of Solo Sikoas, this group would be, getting booed. There wouldn't be one person cheering. Solo Sikoa is not a very easily likable guy. And that's a compliment if you're a heel. He's got a great stoic, just nasty look. He's always looking for violence. You never know when he's going to strike. For being not a huge guy, he feels bigger than he looks, which is a good compliment to him as well. So I think this is the coming out party for Solo Sikoa. And getting some one-on-one time without the bloodline around him is really going to pay dividends, because you can see who and what he is without the bloodline. He is not defined by solely the bloodline. And we got a callback to Umaga, another Samoan, with the Samoan spike. I hope it's not just a one-off here. I forgot how much I miss the Samoan spike. And it feels silly at first, right? You taped up your thumb and you're just gonna, jab it in the person's throat. It doesn't look super appealing, but when you think about what that actually would entail, imagine somebody with a kind of a taped up, thick, pointed thumb jabbing you directly in the throat. That would crush your esophagus. It would do damage. So it is destructive and it is painful, even if it's not your typical finisher of, targeting someone's head or solar plexus or something like that, or a submission. It's a very unique finish, and I like it. And I forgot how much I missed it with Umaga. And so it was definitely a callback to that. He did the running, I don't know what you call it, the running smash into the turnbuckle with his rear end. I don't know. I honestly don't know what you call that move. But that ended up being a really nice segment for Solo Sikoa, establishing him as his own man and showing how violent he can be, but then going back to being Mr. Stoic, walking up the ramp. It was great, sending Riddle on a stretcher to the hospital and just being completely remorseless, no emotion. It was great. I really enjoyed this a lot. So it again, one of the highlights for me of the night was this and the Samoan spike. And I hope that this is a finish that is sustained. It's not just, again, a callback to Umaga, a fellow Samoan. I really do. I hope that's not the case. So, all right. Let's see here. I'm looking through my notes. I think that the promo between Becky and Bayley on Raw was awkward. It didn't feel like it flowed. It had like pauses, and it clearly was not very scripted. And I will take this over scripted any day, because even awkwardness and lack of chemistry in a single promo feels better than a scripted promo where everyone has their cute lines and you can tell they're reading from a script in their brain that they just read 10 minutes ago when they were in Gorilla. So I think that this, even as awkward as it was, and it just it did not flow at all. Where, you know, Bayley was getting mad at the audience for not cheering when Bayley said that she held up the women's division and doing double and triple duty when we were during the pandemic era, or as they like to phrase it, the Thunderdome era. And that to me it was telling. I think she actually was truly annoyed by that we just didn't have any love for her by that, fact that she did. And she did a great job with Sasha Banks. Remember when her and Sasha Banks held all the gold and they were just running roughshod? Remember that? I do. And it was great. So she does deserve credit. You know, the problem is Bayley dominated an era in which we all want to forget. See, we don't want anything to do with the pandemic era. We don't want to remember it. Most of us. I mean, I'm sure it'd be fascinating to go back and even now watch it and go, how did we get through this? This is weird. You know, because it's peanut butter and jelly. You know, you have the fans there. They add so much to the show. To go back and watch. I have not watched a single show from the pandemic era since we got out of the pandemic era, because it's just too much, you know, PTSD for most of us on a lot of levels. So, you know, I think also, well, again, you can claim that you held things up, and, you know, Drew McIntyre did the same thing for the men's side, but it's an era that we don't want to remember. That's the sad part. So, but it felt, this promo was very awkward. It did not work well. You know, it just felt uncomfortable. They never found their groove, and it just, I don't know. They had they had a confrontation, and that was pretty much it. You know what? But the thing is, that wasn't even the most awkward part. The most awkward part had to do with Rhea Ripley, because as Becky Lynch is leaving after she kind of, you know, has her spat with Bayley on the mic, we have the first woman's triple threat happening, but Becky's not involved in that one. So she's walking up the ramp to leave, and we have Rhea Ripley's music hit, and you know that they're going to have a stare down because this showdown hasn't happened, and we're waiting for it. And you know, you can tease it, you can get fans excited about it. But what was weird is the length of time that these two women stood and stared at each other was way too much. It should have been like a quick 1 to 2 second glance, and that's it. But they stared at each other like, you know, they were gonna make out or something. I mean, it was weird. It was just way too long. Now, I know what they're doing. They're building to Becky and Rhea at some point, and I think that that's going to be really fun. But, you know, don't be so just, I don't know. Like, it killed the moment for me because it lasted. It lasted much, much too long. Maybe you felt differently and you enjoyed the moment there, the little tease of what's to come. I felt it was overplayed. But, you know, I don't hate it, just awkward. So the whole thing with Becky coming out was awkward. On top of the fact that, you know, she added her hair back suddenly, and we all know they're extensions. I don't really care that they're extensions. I could care less. But it's funny. Now she's completed the transformation back to the man character. You know, the whole big time Bex thing is gone, and back to the man. I think big time Bex could stay. I really do. That caught on. People just didn't hate it. People don't want to hate Becky. It felt tough to boo her. The fans didn't want to. There were times she got, you know, a negative reaction, but it didn't last. It wasn't sustainable. And I think that she had something with big time Bex instead of going just back to, you know, before she had a baby and going back to big time, or going back to her whole man gimmick and you know, basically mimicking exactly how she looked with her hair length and her outfits right before she, you know, turned heel. I think evolution is a necessary, 100% necessary trait to have if you want to survive in the business. I don't care who you are. And I'm not saying anything revolutionary. It's true. And I think with Becky Lynch, she had something there with Big Time Bex, and maybe she'll go back to it. But right now, she just feels like the man. And it was a really good character, but I'm surprised she hasn't evolved it. So, all right. What else did we get here? We got the first woman's triple threat here, the Asuka, Bayley, Rhea Ripley match. I would have bet the house that Rhea Ripley was going to win this, and Asuka was going to take the pinfall. I thought for sure, because you're looking at this going, well, Bayley and Becky are clearly on a warpath. They're clearly on a path to a pay-per-view match, and that's cool. That's great. I think that they haven't met in 3 years, and good, let's do it. But they didn't go that road. They decided to have Bayley win, and now you're thinking, well, who could Bayley face in the finals? And then if she wins, you can't have a heel Bayley versus a heel Rhea. No one's going to care. So what are you doing now? Well, you're looking at a very strange matchup here, and I'll get to the second half. If you saw Raw, you know who won. But Bayley won the first matchup here, and Rhea Ripley did not. Now, Rhea Ripley was protected, of course, by not being involved in the decision. But overall, the match itself, I think, was good. It didn't make me go crazy, but it was good. And I'm surprised they didn't go with Ripley. They're clearly saving that, and I'm fine with it. If they're saving Ripley and Bianca for WrestleMania, then let's do it, baby. Okay, let's continue on. We got Austin Theory versus Mustafa Ali for the United States title, where Ali was backstage again, kind of sulking or just randomly being there. Austin Theory, is confronted by him or runs into him rather, and Ali is talking about how he's had to scratch and claw for everything he's got. He wasn't handed it, and there's no basis to that argument. Like, everybody has to. Everyone. Now, some more than others. Of course, that's just the way the world works. But Austin Theory wasn't handed anything. Austin Theory's just taller, better looking, and a better promo than you are. Okay, if he's more talented, that's not his fault. That's nobody's fault. It's just kind of the way it is. Maybe continue to try to improve yourself to make yourself more marketable. Again, I'm not attacking Ali on a personal level, just from a character perspective. Ali I'm tired of him whining about chances and whining about, they're trying to make him the lovable, sympathetic loser or rather the sympathetic underdog. But lately he's been a perpetual loser. Okay, Ali has not, I don't even know the last time Ali won a match. A couple months. But every time, like Austin Theory said, he gets beat down. It's true. But Austin Theory awarded him a title match to shut him up, and then he says he doesn't ever want to hear about not getting an opportunity ever again. And I'm like, good. Can we put this to bed, please? So give Ali his damn match so a Theory can beat him, and we can be done with Ali complaining about his life. So we got a match here, and there was a really dangerous spot in this matchup that actually, I wasn't super scared. I wasn't as scared as I was when Ricochet took a belly to back suplex directly on his neck, or even the was it the botch in the women's match? The women had a pretty botchy night as well, but the match, or the spot I'm talking about, of course, is the Hurricane Rana from the top rope that we had Ali try to attempt on Theory, and it just didn't work. It was a botch that you never expect to happen with athletes of this caliber. I mean, these guys are as athletic as they come, and they still had a botch spot, and it happens. I'm not crapping on them. I'm not going to sit there and chant you effed up, like some people do. And the crowd didn't, I don't think. I didn't hear any. If they did, I didn't hear it. But, I respect anyone who can do this. It's, it's so difficult to do. And I'm just glad that nobody got hurt. That could have ended very poorly. Very poorly. I mean, you're fractions of an inch away from snapping your neck and being paralyzed the rest of your life. I mean, it's amazing the risks that these men and women take. But, nobody was hurt. That's the most important thing. Now, on to the story. We didn't get a finish because Ziggler showed up and hit Theory with a super kick out of nowhere. That caused the DQ, and then Ali got in his face, but that allowed Theory to take down both guys. And then Theory hit the go to sleep, but the A-Town down on Ziggler. So Ali wins by DQ. And now you've got Ziggler interjecting himself into this whole story, which tells me, red alert, a triple threat match coming at Royal Rumble. Has to. Theory versus Ali versus Ziggler. And hey, you know what? It's predictable. Yes. Is it nearly a foregone conclusion if this match happens at the Rumble or Raw before? I mean, who knows? They're not shy about putting title matches. We've probably seen like 5 title matches in the last 2 weeks on TV. But, I don't think that there's a problem with this because, okay, it's predictable, and yes, Austin Theory is going to retain, but this could be a really amazing matchup. I mean, it could steal the show. Yeah, I took something from Ziggler there, but it's true. This one could really steal the show. So, all right. So let's continue here. What else do we have? The OC versus Alpha Academy and Baron Corbin. So the OC get the victory here. Nothing too serious to report. Again, this is kind of your unfortunate filler content for the night. It ended with Gallows and Anderson hitting Gable with the Magic Killer for the win. Like, really, whatever match Alpha Academy's involved in at this point, they're going to lose. So, and again, I don't know what Baron Corbin is doing with his life other than he made a new friend in JBL and they were playing some JBL poker backstage. And, JBL still wears pants from the 1980s. I mean, it really looks like, I'm serious, like MC Hammer designed his pants. For all the money JBL has, he just can't afford, just some kind of fitted suit. I'm not saying skin tight, the skinny jeans, but good Lord, man, like, can you wear pants that don't look like they're just flapping in the wind and they're 8 sizes too big? I don't know what it is with that look that he feels is appealing or he just doesn't care. I don't know. It's awkward, but the JBL association, it just doesn't feel like it's working. It still feels like oil and water. And maybe it's because Baron Corbin was already a mature talent and now you're bringing in JBL almost for no reason because Baron can talk on the mic. They're trying to transfer the heat to Baron, but Baron is so boring that the heat is still remaining on JBL, a non-competitor. So it's a very weird pairing that I think probably won't last much longer. I could be wrong. I just don't feel it. And it's been some time now. What, a couple months? Maybe a little less than that. Right now it's oil and water for me. But I want it to succeed. I do. But I don't feel it. I don't see it. So, all right. What else do we get? Akira Tozawa versus Dominic Mysterio. I mean, you can just tell who's going to win this. I don't even need to go through the matchup from a play-by-play perspective. Dominic Mysterio gets the victory as he should, but Akira Tozawa, who seemingly was on his way out the door just a few weeks ago and sending tweets and all that kind of stuff. It's good to see him on TV if you're concerned about his career, but Dominic gets the victory here, and that pretty much is it. Nothing to write home about here at all. All right. Becky Lynch versus Alexa versus Nikki Cross. There was another botch in this match. We'll just talk about that quickly. The botch came when Nikki Cross was taking a manhandle slam on the ring apron. It's just sloppy. It didn't look like anyone was in an imminent danger like earlier in the night with the Hurricane Rana with Ali and Theory. But it was a little sloppy. But it happens. Again, I'm not me crapping on it. It was a botchy night overall for a lot of people, a lot of matches. So I don't know what was in the air over there at DC. But the winner of this match was Alexa Bliss. And right now, Alexa Bliss is she won because of damage control interference, but people right now are very vanilla on Alexa. Because they don't know what to do. Alexa Bliss doesn't get time to talk at all. That doesn't help because Alexa is a really good talker. But this could be exactly what she needs. No, it is exactly what she needs in terms of her career. Because right now, Alexa Bliss, I don't even know the last time she was awarded a women's title match. So Alexa Bliss right now is done with the therapy, done with sitting on playgrounds, although at some point it looks like she will link back up with Bray Wyatt. And now she is being awarded an opportunity, at least to face Bayley, and then go on to face Rhea. And the reason I was just kind of jumping to Bianca Belair versus Alexa Bliss is because there's just no way you would imagine that Bayley is going to take on Bianca. Now, I could be wrong here. So there's two schools of thought here. Alexa could win because Becky repays the favor and screws Bayley in the matchup next week. Therefore, Alexa Bliss wins and faces Bianca Belair. Or you could have Alexa Bliss lose because maybe the lights go out. There's a quick promo of the Moth, or a quick shot, a quick image of Uncle Howdy, and she's frozen in fear or frozen in a trance again, staring at the Titantron. The lights come back up, and then she's just standing there, just completely mesmerized, which allows Bayley to take advantage and get the victory over Alexa Bliss to face Bianca. That could happen as well. And then Bayley could get screwed by Becky in the match between Bianca and Bayley. I think that's actually more likely, because Alexa Bliss versus Bianca, you're face versus face, which isn't the end of the world. It's more appealing than heel. But the bigger match is Bayley and Bianca. And yes, we've seen it before, which tells you right off the bat, Bianca ain't losing it no matter who wins that match. But the star power is better. And it allows Becky to screw or pay Bayley back on a larger scale, to a bigger, a bigger degree. I can't think of words tonight, guys. Sorry, it's super late. So to me, that's probably the more likely scenario, is having Bayley advance. Then we get Becky Lynch screwing her over. But it's also still possible that she screws Bayley next week on Raw. That's also very possible. Either way, the bottom line is Bianca Belair remains your champion, no matter what the outcome is. So, but it's good to see Alexa Bliss get a victory. I don't even know if there was a time when Alexa Bliss got a victory for the main event of Raw. I'm sure there was, but whatever that date is or year is, I don't remember. So, let's see. Oh, here's a note here. This is from a play-by-play website. I'm glad this was brought up because it's something I should address. The giant AR graphic of Lily for Alexa's entrance, it's back. And it does tell me that, unfortunately, again, if Lily is brought back in all this, I think the fans are going to crap all over it. Also, Nikki Cross. Are we ever going to hear from her again? She turns back to this nutso, crazy lunatic. And we all just accept it. Nobody's asking her, hey, why'd you do it? What happened? What was the revelation? What's your mission? Why? Is there a strategy or is there some kind of agenda you have on why you're attacking the people you're attacking? Nothing. So it's really amazing that we haven't heard from Nikki Cross, and she turned back, 5-6 weeks ago? Give her a damn explanation. Give her the mic. Just for a brief explanation. That would be very nice. Okay. Oh, the Seth Rollins and him, Bobby Lashley coming out to confront him. It's weird that Seth Rollins continues to bring up Brock Lesnar to Bobby Lashley, because what does he care? Plus his statement that, you realize that you just can't beat Brock, can you, Bobby? Did he not watch the Rumble last year? What is he talking about? Do they think that we have that short of memory that we don't remember that they faced each other twice and they each have a victory under their belt? Or are we all just supposed to remember the most recent thing that happened because it's always the mentality of, what have you done for me lately? Okay, well, I'm not going that road. I'm taking the road that makes most sense, and the most sense is, yeah, Bobby's already beaten Brock. So I don't know what Seth is talking about. But they did end up brawling, and Raw gets its obligatory brawl. Pull-apart brawl, I should say. That's been a very, I think, overused strategy by Triple H during his run so far. And, you know, I think overall Triple H has done a very nice job bringing back people that shouldn't have been let go in the first place, bringing back the faction, I guess, blueprint for Raw and SmackDown. That's good. You know, he's brought back women that shouldn't have been let go. He's brought back the women's tag titles, although he seemingly doesn't have an actual plan for them. But overall, I think Triple H has done a nice job. There are some things that he repeats and repeats and repeats, and this is one of those. I don't know the appeal of it or why. It's a pull-apart brawl, and I guess the real thing that came from this was Bobby Lashley accidentally spearing an official. Not Adam Pearce, but I guess his confidant or something. And Adam Pearce backstage just told Lashley, hey, I know it was an accident. I was out there, but if it happens again, my hands are tied. So you know what's going to happen next week. These two are going to once again be in a pull-apart brawl, and you're going to know Bobby's going to, you know, accidentally or maybe purposefully, or we'll have to, come to your own conclusion type of segment where Bobby ends up spearing Adam Pearce or yet another person, or maybe the same person that was speared last night. But that's what's going to happen. Otherwise, why would they even mention this? And why would they even do this if nothing was going to come of it? If Lashley just randomly speared, you know, those nameless, faceless officials that come out when there's a pull-apart brawl. So, at least the wrestlers didn't come out. I have to say that. At least they didn't have the wrestlers who have nothing going on in their career, nothing better to do than have just basically do a standby job for Adam Pearce. That if, two guys that are too big to handle for security and the typical referees, you guys got nothing else going on. If you want to be standby security, that'd be great. So at least we didn't get that. That was good. Okay. What else? I'm looking at my notes here. I know I had more. I don't know. That might be it. I feel like I'm missing something. But that pretty much covers Raw, guys. I think that overall it was a good show. We have SmackDown coming up this week. It's going to be Sheamus and Butch versus the Usos for the tag team titles. No Drew McIntyre. No Drew McIntyre, which they said he's not medically cleared to wrestle. So what does that mean? Maybe he's got COVID. Maybe he's got the flu. There's something that came up because they wouldn't have, I don't believe, pushed that match back with Drew and Sheamus. I mean, that's a great tag team right there that are credible, believable, probably the most credible, believable opponents to date to take the belts off of the Usos. So maybe it was strategic. Maybe they figured, hey, let's do this at the Rumble. Or, maybe a later SmackDown or something. We need to, basically come up with content for the next 6 weeks. But something tells me this is real because WWE doesn't often, although they don't often advertise a match and then not deliver on it. Usually if that happens, then they make up for it with an even bigger match, bigger stars, that kind of thing. So it's not like WWE to do this. They've done it before, but again, it's not their typical course of action. So I think that there is something legitimately going on with Drew. Again, I don't know the severity of it. I'm sure you can Google it. But anyway, good Raw. A nice steady build towards the Rumble. Although we are not getting any mention of the Rumble yet. It's like as if corporate has said, guys, you have amnesia. Nobody will remember what the next premium live event is. If you do, I'll have to kill you. It's almost like they're being threatened. Of course not, but from a creative perspective, I think that they don't want anyone trying to on air talk about the Rumble because it's still too far out. They probably haven't solidified all their plans. And if they mention something on Raw or SmackDown of a potential program or feud or whatever, then they're holding themselves to that. And maybe they come up with something better in a few weeks. And then all of a sudden, well, how do we get out of this? Right. So they are being smart in that way that if they haven't ever solidified everything, then I wouldn't have them mention the premium live event either. For now, It's just awkward, but awkward and botchy. That's kind of the theme of the night. Again, not rant worthy, not anger, just kind of botchy and awkward. That is a great phrase for Raw. And look, some of you may have liked Raw or loved Raw. I didn't love it. It was good, but awkward to me. So I can't put it any other way. But I hope you guys enjoyed this show. If you want to follow us, please do so at wrestling_audio on Twitter, or go ad free at patreon.com/WWE podcast for $1 a month. Also, check out our website, www.podcast.com, or go ad-free on Apple Podcasts with the ad-free subscribe button right on the page of Apple. 99 cents a month, $10 for a year of content. A year, $10. I don't even know what that breaks down to. We posted last year 367 shows. That's basically one a day. So you're getting 365 ad-free shows for $10. That's like a fraction of a penny. I don't know. I'm bad at math. 3 cents a show? I don't know. Whatever it is. So honestly, check it out. It's a great way to support the show. If you want to go also support the show, it's a great way too, is go to Apple and put in our 5-star rating and review. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Tomorrow I'll be back with the mailbag. So send in your questions. Mailbag at WWEpodcast.com. I will get to your questions, your rants, whatever you want to talk about. It's at mailbag at WWEpodcast.com. You can also call us. Those are the phone numbers in the description notes of all of our mailbag emails, or shows rather. So I'd encourage you to call in too if you haven't done so. And keep it to 3 minutes or less. That's the cutoff for everybody, 3 minutes or less. And the emails, please be concise. I know that a lot of people have thoughts and very deep feelings on some of the storylines, or they want to flesh out something with me, but try to be as concise as you can be. Okay, that's all I ask. But thank you, everybody, for listening. I'll talk to you tomorrow on the mailbag. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.